Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth episode of Introducing the Wolves. This week I'm joined by Helen Moss, Hazel Taylor and Nikki Croxall, the newly rebranded Nottingham Raptors. Helen and Hazel make up the coaching team of the Raptors, while Nikki's been appointed the Raptors social media correspondent. To begin this week, we're just going to go through a little icebreaker, so the three of you just need to name the first teammate that comes to mind when I give you a title. So first of all, who's always late?
Nikki.
Solid start. Who's the biggest moaner?
Nah.
Oh,
Straight
yeah.
straight out of that.
Definitely.
The most vain.
Nah.
Oh. Closely followed by Tegan with the nails.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
The worst dressed.
Worst dress. Oh
I don't know
no.
for that one.
No, I don't know.
I think we're all pretty sassy with like what we wear.
Fashion's on point.
The biggest hard man.
The biggest what?
Hard man or hard woman.
Mossy.
I'd have said that.
Start abusing my assets.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst dancer.
Oh
Oh,
I haven't really seen anyone dance, I don't think.
no.
no. No. I don't know. I think we've all got some good moves though, haven't we?
Yeah, I
And
don't know
then who's most likely to be a future coach? So maybe some of the younger players in the squad or anyone coming through.
Oh,
That's a good question.
Laura Urquhart would make a good coach.
who would, to be fair.
Yeah, she would.
Or
Yeah.
Jess.
I was going to say, yeah, Jess, I think we'll do one day as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Raggy's quite good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would make sense actually.
Yeah.
And then of the Raptors, who would each be your desert island companion?
Danny.
Yeah, I was going to say Helen.
Oh, I don't know. Can I pick one?
You could pick two.
Are you giving me two so that I can pick Hazel and Mossy and not have to choose between them?
You better do.
Only if they're your two, you could pick two other people not on this interview.
Oh, so we can't pick each other?
No, you can't. Yeah, you can do. You don't have
We
to.
promise not to cut you from the team.
Yeah, I promise.
Okay, so if we're picking someone outside the three of us, I feel like Raggy would be the most entertaining.
Yeah.
Should
That'd
definitely be
be
entertaining. Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, brilliant. So to start off with, can you give a little bit of background to the women's club and how the Vixens, obviously now the Raptors, how the club's developed and the game's grown? Nikki, you've been involved the longest, I believe. So
Yeah, so the club tried to get a women's team started years ago, and I think that's when they had the name of the Bengals, but it never really took off. And I'm pretty sure Sam is the only person that ever had one of the shirts as well. We had the shirt drawn up, and then we sort of lost the interest of it. So to get to where we are now is incredible. So from there, we launched the Vixens. We sort of tried again, and we got a few people signing up. And there's just a few of us that train like every other week, just a few girls. And you know, we'd make the sessions mixed just to try and boost the numbers. So the fact that we don't really have to do that anymore, I think, speaks volumes. But what's more incredible as well is that for most of the girls that were in that initial group are still with the team now, which is really nice to see. So you've still got the core squad as well.
No, brilliant. So what sort of numbers are you getting down? Well, were you getting down at training before lockdown and stuff?
I'd
was
say
it
between 15 and 20, regularly between 15 and 20.
No, that's
The
really
height
good,
was about 22 wanted. The most at one point was 22 and we got very excited, didn't we?
Oh, that's really good. So how did each of you get involved with ball hockey? Sort of different sporting backgrounds.
So I started off playing roller hockey when I was 16.
Oh, yeah.
I used to go to a roller disco in Lincoln where I lived, and it got cancelled, and the roller hockey team started training in the time slot, so I joined that. Went to uni, started playing ice hockey at uni when I was walking along with my roller hockey kit and someone shouted out the halls of residence window, "Excuse me, do you play ice hockey?" And I said, "No, I play roller," and said, "Oh, well, do you want to?" So I did. And then I got into ball hockey about 6 or 7 years ago through some of my ice hockey teammates who played.
Do you think the experience of playing roller and ice hockey is sort of carried over to ball hockey at all, especially when it gets towards GB or a higher level?
Yeah, definitely. I think sort of a lot of the systems are fairly similar, and just the way the game's played is fairly similar. Obviously, there's quite a few things that are quite different, but definitely having that background definitely helped with getting into ball.
How about you, Helen?
Well, I started playing ice hockey when I was 16, so I did a work experience down at the ice rink. Well, not at the ice rink, but over a leisure centre, and someone at the ice rink worked there at the same time as me, and it was just, "Oh yeah, you need to come down and ice skate." I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not really interested. And I started going the Billy Blue session first time, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I can't do this." I was like, "What is this about? I need to get my own skates." So got my own skates, started skating. Then I was just like, "All right, I'll watch a Panthers Steelers match." From that point onwards, I was hooked. I was just like, "Oh my god, what is this sport? I need to play." So from that point onwards, when I was 16, I played ice hockey all the way through. And going through kind of like the stages of ice hockey, playing for like North of England, and then ultimately you want to get to the like height of what the sport can be. So part of trying out for Great Britain, I kind of like came across like ball hockey, and like a couple of the same people that were playing ice hockey, like, "You really need to do it, you really need to do it." So I thought, right, okay, trying out for GB, go and do a bit of ball hockey as extra kind of like off ice sessions to improve fitness. And from that point onwards, it was hooked. I was just like, went down, gave it a go. I was just like, "This is amazing." I was just like, don't have to worry about what my feet are doing, don't have to worry about falling over on the ice. I'm just like, I can just concentrate on the ball. I'm just like, this is so good. So from then I was just like, yeah, ball hockey is the way forward. It's like transferable skills as well, so it's just brilliant. So yeah.
Brilliant. How about you, Nikki?
So I did it the other way around. I didn't play ice until once I'd already started ball hockey. So for me, I came from a football background, and I was playing for a ladies team that ended up folding. And when we were sort of deciding what to do, like which team to go to and stuff, it was a friend that was on my team that told me about ball hockey. Because she knew that I liked ice hockey and liked Panthers and all that, and she'd just been away for the 2011 World Champs. So she was telling me all about that, and she told me about ball hockey. So I just gave it a go from there.
No, brilliant. So sort of as the Vixens have developed and the game's grown, where did the idea of the Raptors come from?
I think it's got to the point where we need something that's going to see us through the future now.
Yeah.
Like the Vixens served as well, hasn't it? The name's served as well. We've stuck with it for quite a while. We definitely needed to freshen up.
We needed a bit of versatility as well. So with like the Vixens, you can't really kind of like adapt and do other kind of like team names from that as well. It was pretty much unique for what we needed to do. But for the development of progression and kind of like extending and making things like bigger and better, we just needed to adapt the name to how it would fit to how we wanted to move the team moving forward. So we just needed to think of a versatile name and brand to be able to kind of like move forward with. So with Raptors, hopefully we will be able to do that as well and create more teams.
No, that's brilliant. So who came up with the name of the Raptors? Was that one of you, or?
I think it was Mossy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was along the lines of so we wanted something similar to what the Wolves had got. So for example, there's the Nottingham Wolves as a collective as the club, then you've got your mixture of your dire wolves, your hyenas, timber wolves, coyotes, all of that theme. So thinking of a name for the women's side of it, you wanted something that was as versatile as that. So you go down the stages of what can you have as like a top branded name, and then like child names from that as such. So you go down like the avenue of kind of like fairies, whether or not you can do things like that, and just came along with dinosaurs and just like, well, yeah, that's the best way to go. And then obviously you got so many different names from that, and you can take different avenues. So I think it was Rob that had. Did he have the final say on Raptors? Because I think I just said dinosaurs. What about dinosaurs? And just, oh yeah, it's really good. And I was like, what about T-Rex? And I'm just like, no.
That can be for juniors.
Yeah. So I think he came up with, what about Nottingham Raptors? And I was just like, yeah, that sounds perfect. I think we all agreed as well, didn't we? We were just thinking it was a good name. So yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed when I saw all of the logo in the jerseys for the first time.
Yeah,
the branding works really well.
It's really good. I think we all had some really good ideas for that as well, didn't we? We were just like wanted to incorporate so much.
What was the process like for deciding on the final jersey design and stuff?
We got a basic one through, didn't we, from a basic idea of colours and a basic design, and then there were a few things that we wanted to change from the basic design. So we wanted to have something hockey related in the dinosaur, so that's how we got the ball, the dinosaur chewing on the ball, and then the claw marks in the stripes around the bottom of the kit.
Mm-hmm. And then the very unique number on the collar as well on the jerseys. Yeah. That's good.
It is just little stuff like that can make or break a kit. I think. Yeah,
for sure.
The nice detail. Mm-hmm. So obviously in the coming seasons, hopefully we'll be able to finish the 2019-20 season at some point. But what are the main aims of the Raptors, and how do you like to see the club and the sport progress?
So I think immediate future, we want to try and get 2 ladies teams, don't we? We've come so close a couple of times to having 2 women's teams into a tournament. And there's been a few times we thought that we might get there, but then numbers sort of drop out at the last minute. So it feels like we're on the cusp of that happening quite soon. So we want to get that. That's why we've got 2 options for the jerseys as well, so we can easily have 2 teams. So we're all set up for that. But then sort of long term, we want to get a girls' academy going. So we've got a natural progression from the girls' team into the ladies.
Yeah. So in terms of getting the numbers for a second senior team, what sort of information would you like to put out there for people who might be interested in coming down to training? Obviously, you can't say when training is going to return and stuff, but is there like a particular message you'd like to put out just to people who might be interested?
Just to give it a go, because you can come and try. If it's a new sport for you, you don't know whether or not you're going to like it, but obviously it's probably chance and time for changes as well with whatever's going off. So just like if you've not tried something, go outside your comfort zones. And
the team's got players of all abilities, right from beginners through to players that play for GB. So anyone at all can come and try it. It doesn't matter if you've never played hockey before, if you've played a bit of ice hockey, whatever level you are, it's absolutely fine. We're more than welcoming for new players.
And then in terms of the domestic sort of competitions, what's the main aim in terms of winning silverware this year or next year?
Nationals.
We'll get so close as well. I was going to say this season, like before, like the lockdown happened and everything like that, the depth within the current squad is absolutely there. What we were noticing, it wasn't just like a team of individuals; it was a team of everybody that's like has their own kind of like unique, like what am I trying to say? So everybody's kind of versatile at playing different positions.
Yeah.
We had to absolutely adapt from not having loads of numbers, then developing and coming through and having quite a few numbers, but then making up lines and teams. So before we were having like 2-line hockey, now we can stretch out to 3, potentially 4, but then it's obviously asking players to actually play in different positions. But we've got the versatility for that to happen, and the strength in the numbers that is there is absolutely brilliant. And girls were getting on the score sheets that had never like scored in the season before, and it's just like if we can continue with developing that at training, who knows where we're going to be in the next like year or so to come, when we can potentially have 2 teams as well. We could actually have 2 potentially very good, strong teams as well. So it's just being able to play on that and kind of like develop it and move it forward.
Yeah, I think the last few years, certainly the team's come such a long way. We've gone from going to nationals expecting to lose every game to being, well, we won one of the qualifiers last season, so it's definitely winning some silverware is definitely something we're hoping to do in the near future.
Yeah, it's quite a club-wide thing that we're getting quite close now on a consistent basis. Was it last season that the Vixens and the Wolves both lost in the final?
Yeah, I think it was. We came so close, didn't we, in the final? I think it was against Bees Knees.
Yeah, I think it was.
No, well, with the way the club's progressing and stuff, I think both the Wolves and the Raptors will be winning silverware quite regularly in the near
And
future.
with Fantastic Fours as well. Was it Fantastic Fours where we entered an all-girls team?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
How could we forget that? That was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely happening again next season as well. Next year.
That's it.
Obviously hoping and assuming that the tournament's going to be on. Hopefully by then we're sorted. But yeah, so definitely for sure another women's team next year.
So what did we do? Did we manage to get through to the semi-finals? What was
Yes,
it?
wasn't it?
It was semi-final. So we ended up, well, we just thought we were entering a women's team for the first time ever. We weren't anticipating anything, and to be able to get through to a semi-finals and give mixed teams and boys teams a run for the money, we were not expecting that.
We massively exceeded our expectations, I think, in that tournament.
Definitely did.
It must have been the first time at Fantastic Fours there's been an all-women's team.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a massive achievement and sort of a testament to the hard work that everyone's put in for the women's club. So Nikki, as the social media correspondent, how do you feel that an independent setup can support the growth of the Raptors and sort of your own branding and stuff?
I think it's what we're ready for now. We probably should have had it a little while ago with the Vixens, but now that we've got the new name and the new looks of the club, it's definitely the right time to do it. But we're obviously still part of the Wolves setup, but it doesn't mean that we need to just sort of hang off their social media. It's time to sort of have our own now and help build the brand, because that's what people are going to see, isn't it?
Yeah, I completely agree. What sort of content can people expect to see from the Raptors sort of as the pages start to develop and stuff?
So the first thing I want to do is do player profiles, just to introduce all the girls that are on the squad.
Yeah.
So similar to what Wolves did last season, we'll do a similar thing, like a picture of each player and a few little questions, like icebreaker questions and that. So I think that's the way forward, and then that's something I want to keep doing with every new player that joins, to introduce them on social media. And then moving forward, we'll get back to playing, obviously, for score updates and things. But I want to have more video and photos on there as well from tournaments. We need a bit more of that content for sure. Yeah,
that's brilliant. And obviously, once training can start to come back and stuff, it'll be a very good tool for getting everyone involved in branching out in terms of getting the numbers needed for the second senior team and then the juniors going forward as well.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, we've sort of touched on it already, but is there one thing that each of you are really excited about going forward for the Raptors? So I'll start with you, Helen.
Oh, I don't know. There's so many just seeing the natural progression from when somebody first joins, and I know kind of stepping stones and everything like that, but we have got potential to have girls that are representing club level, yes, perfect, but also Great Britain level as well, at different age ranges as well. So you see the under 18s, under 20s, women's, and then masters as well. So I'm excited to see what kind of we can flourish through in the next couple of years, and the talent that we'll be able to progress and showcase as well from the Nottingham team. It'll be brilliant to see.
Oh, that's brilliant. Hazel, same question to you.
I'm most excited about getting back to playing games. A bit for myself, actually being able to play, or for everyone individually, but also for the team, because things were going really well for us before lockdown. We've seen a big improvement in a lot of players had improved a lot individually, and we'd had a few new players at the beginning of the season, quite a few who have improved absolutely loads. But in terms of playing together as a team, that was really coming together quite nicely. So I'm really excited to get back to playing games again.
Obviously, it's been even longer for you, hasn't it? When was the
yeah.
last time you would have played a game?
I last played on the 3rd of November 2019 was my last proper game.
Wow. And Nikki, same to you.
Just coming from Hazel's point, I think Hazel made a good point there, that it's a shame obviously none of us wanted what's happened, but it really came at a time where the team was really hitting its stride, and there's a lot of players that were really improving. But sort of looking long term, the thing I'm most looking forward to is just the girls' academy, because at the moment there's nothing else like that out there. But I feel like that's going to be the biggest step to growing the women's game.
Anyone who'd like to find out more about the Raptors, make sure to follow their social media pages. For Twitter and Instagram will be set up too, and they'll be working with the Wolves social media setup as well, just to get all the information out there. So hopefully there'll be information about returning to training soon, I think everyone's itching to get back. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to you three for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So I'm now joined by the Wolves General Manager, Patrick Cox, and we're just going to discuss what the Raptors rebranding means for the Wolves in general, and sort of coming from a GB perspective as well, what it could mean going forward. So Pat, from a Wolves perspective, what does the Raptors rebrand represent?
I think basically it's the next step for the women's section of the club. It seems like the natural thing to do at this time. It's gained a lot of support over recent years, and we've grown to a size where we've really got to start to look at how we develop the women's section. So it's sort of the sort of organic growth of that part of the club has kind of dictated that we needed to take it a step further, and that's come at a time when we've brought Helen and Hazel in to do the coaching. So they've been brought in from within the group, which is a great thing to do. So it just seemed a very good time for all of this to happen. We've always tried to support the women's growth. So and that's at a club level, but also at a sort of national level as well. So we were, really proud of what's been achieved. We've had very good people involved all the way through. So all credit to everybody that's been involved. But yeah, we're ready to push on now and expand and go forward.
Yeah, definitely. And then sort of coming from the Wolves' perspective, how's the relationship going to work with the Raptors having a bit more autonomy than the Vixens have done previously? How do you see that sort of like the two coinciding?
I think it's, again, it feels very natural to do that. I think initially when the Vixens first started, they did need a significant amount of support from the club. That being just in terms of kind of direction and really basics, just ideas, equipment, things like that, and also help with the the facility fees and things like that. Whenever you're starting up, just covering the basic costs of hall rentals and things like that, is very difficult. So by being part of the bigger club, when you make a little bit of money one week and lose a bit the next, but when you're a new team, you kind of go through a difficult period where you're trying to attract enough people to make it viable. So we were able to support that in the early days. That they're getting big numbers out now. So from a financial perspective, they're much more stable. But it does make sense to have core members of that women's group involved in leading it forward. They need to be dictating the direction that they want to go in. Of course, we're always there in the background to offer support, but we don't really want to be dictating to them about how their section of the club grows. So it feels like the right thing to do. I think we've got really good, enthusiastic people with experience and a lot of skills. So it's in good hands.
Your positions at GB, how do you see the Raptors rebrand sort of supporting the progression of the women's game on a national scale?
I think we've always been there from the beginning in terms of the development of the women's game. We were the first club to really push to have a women's team. We're a big club. We have a lot of teams. We do have a lot of women's members. So we've had an advantage in that sense. But particularly Rob Clayton, he was keen to see the women's game grow. So I think in terms of the national game, I think potentially moving to two teams within the women's section, it just strengthens that. I mean, obviously there's other women's teams that have grown around the country. but the more teams you have available for tournaments and things like that, you know, the better the competition becomes. I think in terms of the women's GB program, you know, the more we promote this thing at club and national level, the better a pool of players we're going to have to take to, you know, world championships. I think on an international scale, they're trying to grow the women's game, particularly at the sort of youth levels. And I think we can be a big part of that. I think we can help feed the GB team, you know, and help to sustain that that progress that's happening even on an international level.
Thanks very much for joining me, Pat. And I hope everyone's enjoyed both catching up with Pat and the interview with Helen, Hazel and Nikki. Thanks very much.